All right, so everybody turn to John 11, verse 35. When you get there, raise your hand. You there? You get to go first through the line when we eat later. Okay. All right, is everybody there? And it says, Jesus wept. Shortest verse in the Bible, the way they did it. I mean, this wasn't intended when it was written that way, but that's the way it played out when they did the verses to Scripture. But Jesus wept. Why did he weep? What was going on that made him weep? And that's what I'm going to look at today, and we're going to talk about some. This computer doesn't do that. So now we're going to drop back to John 11:32, and we're going to read the story here. I'm just going to read through it first. Then when Mary was come where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled, and said, Where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Come and see. Jesus wept. Then said the Jews, Behold, how he loved him. And some of them said, Could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? Jesus therefore, again groaning in himself, cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Jesus said, Take ye away the stone. Martha, take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. Jesus saith unto her, Said I not unto thee that if thou wouldest believe, thou wouldest see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. I knew that thou hearest me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Jesus saith unto them, Loose him and let him go. So, why did he weep? Once again, what was getting to him? What was bothering Jesus? A lot of people may look at this and they may say he wept because his friend was dead. May look at it and say he wept because of the comments that the people said. And that's where I'm going. The comments that the people said. The word groan in these verses is, I'll butcher this for you, Embrim o ahi, something like that. And it means to snort with anger, to have indignation on, to blame, to sigh with chagrin, to sternly enjoin, groan, murmur against, straightly charge. Doesn't sound like he was upset. Doesn't sound like he was grieving for his friend. It sounds like he was a little upset with the people that were there and what they were saying. And it grieved him so that he wept. There's a verse in the Bible, a couple places actually, where it says this, that Jesus said, How long will I suffer thee? How long will I suffer you? How long will I suffer among you? Talking about the people that he's with. Even said this to his disciples. And that word, suffer, is, again, I'll butcher this for you, an ek-om-ai. N's the same as the other word. And it means to hold oneself up against, to put up with, bear with, endure, forbear, suffer. Okay? So again, Jesus is talking to people and he's saying, why do I have to suffer you? How long will I have to suffer with you? Why? Because, just before he went into Jerusalem, they were asking him, are you now going to bring down fire from heaven and create the kingdom again? They still weren't getting it. They still weren't clicking. So he was a little fed up with them. That was one of the instances where he said that. How long will I suffer? How long will I be with you? So, we're going to go back to the beginning of this chapter, John 11, verse 1. And we're going to read this, and I'm going to stop here and there, and I'm going to point out things that people are saying. I can't get it through my head. This screen is not a touch screen. Now, a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. When Jesus heard that, he said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. Now, Jesus is giving a positive statement here. He's saying this death is for the glory of God. It's not that he's just merely dying. It's not that he's just going to go like all others. This is for the glory of God. Something special is going to happen here. And then it goes on in verse 5. It says, now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Now, you can take that and go, well, he stayed there for 2 days more because of what he knew was going to happen. Okay? All right, we're dealing with Jesus, and he is knowing what's coming. He understands what's going to happen. So again, why did he need to weep? He knew that once he got there, Lazarus, his friend, that he loved, was going to be alive again. Why did he have to weep? And that's why I go back to what I said earlier, because of what the people were saying, because of their character, their attitude as to what was going on here. Then after that saith he to his disciples, let us go into Judea again. His disciples say unto him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again? That's a negative statement. That's totally negative. Jesus knows what he's doing. He knows where he's going. These men have been with him for a long time. And they knew what he did and how he did it. And they saw him do miracles. And they saw him heal. And they saw him be attacked by the mob and slide on out and get away. Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walketh in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of the world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. And I believe there he was talking about the Pharisees that were wanting to get him, to stone him, to kill him, because it had already been planned that they wanted him gone. Then we go on down into 11, and it says, These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may wake him out of his sleep. And his disciples, then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Now that sounds positive, but it's really kind of negative, because they're not understanding what Jesus is saying. They're just taking it as if he's sleeping, then why are we going there? Why are we risking our life to go there? Howbeit, Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking a rest and sleep. Then Jesus said unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead, and I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. So he's telling them, I'm glad that I wasn't there so that you can grow in your belief. Because he still knew he had a bunch of followers that weren't on the right same page with him. They still weren't getting it. Some were saying, yeah, you're the Messiah. Some were saying, I'm not sure. I don't get this. And then in 16, then says our favorite guy here, Thomas, doubting Thomas. Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples, let us also go, that we may die with him. That's a negative comment he made. Jesus knows these comments. He's hearing them. He's either hearing them or he just knows them. Because he knows what's in your heart, he knows what's in your mind. And he says, let's go. We'll just die with him. Come on. We've been with him this long. We might as well go ahead and die with him too. Very negative. They're seeing the power of the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the Jews and the Romans. But they're not seeing the power of the man who they've seen do miracles. They're not getting it. And they're with Jesus. I mean, come on. How many times have we stopped and we said, man, if I could just be with Jesus for an hour and talk to him and just ask some questions and just be there with him. You know, where these guys were with him. And like I said, some of them knew he was the Messiah. I bet John knew. I bet Peter knew by that point. And they're not getting it. So that made Jesus groan. That made him grieve. That made him sad. That made him cry, for what are these people going to do? They're with me and they're still not getting it. And you think about it, they're with him and they're still not getting it. And then in his prayer in chapter 17 of John, that's really the Lord's Prayer, he says, I pray for those and those who have not seen me in the future. Okay? That's us. I haven't sat and talked with Jesus. I don't think any of you have. But we still believe. But how well we believe, I don't know. I'll get to that in a minute. In verse 17 it says, Then when Jesus came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him. But Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. Negative statement. Okay? And it gets worse. Okay? And I'm not just picking on Martha. And then she follows that right up with, but I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask God, God will give it thee. How many times do we say, I know he will. I know he can. How many times do we stand here and we talk about things and we talk about something happening and somebody chimes in with something like, oh yeah, but with God all things are possible, and if you ask and pray, Scripture tells you you'll get it. It's going to happen, brother. But then, just like Martha, we go away. 23, Jesus said unto her, Thy brother shall rise again. Okay, this is the man that she believes in, that believes if he had been there, Lazarus would not have died. And he still tells her, Thy brother shall rise again. And she comes back with, Martha saith unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Negative sentence. Because Jesus is not talking to her about the last day. He's not talking about a resurrection. He's talking about bringing someone back to life. And Jesus answers her and says unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? And she comes back with, she saith unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that thou art the Christ and the Son of God, which should come into the world. And ends it right there. Doesn't go on anymore about, it's a positive statement, but it's a negative statement because she's just trying to, I know, I believe that you are. But she goes on. And when she had said she went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly, saying, the master is come and calleth for thee. As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came unto him. Now Jesus was not yet come into the town, but was in the place where Martha had met him. The Jews then, which were with her in the house and comforted her, when they saw Mary, that she rose up and hastily and went out, followed her, saying, she goeth unto the grave to weep there. I have to go back up to the top, sorry. Okay. I'm getting it right. In verse 32, then when Mary was come, and this I've already read, but when Mary was come where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him the same thing, negative. Lord, if thou hadst been there, my brother had not died. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. Again, because she's thinking he had to be there before Lazarus died to raise him to life. She's not having the real belief and power and of thought and concentration on the fact that Jesus can do this. And he's already told the one sister he's going to rise again. But it also sounds like the two sisters sat there and talked before Jesus got there, and both said, if Jesus had only been here, he'd be alive today. If Jesus had only been here, he'd be alive today. Not much faith. And said, where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. And again, I'm saying that he wept because he was being, I read now all the stuff in the beginning where he told Martha that he will live again. And they're believing that he can do this, they say. But they say means something else. Then said the Jews, behold, how he loved him. And some of them said, could not this man which opened his eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? Negative. Again, now they're talking about him. And he knows this. And right after that it says, Jesus therefore, again, groaning in himself, cometh to the grave. He's hearing, he knows these comments. He knows what's in their mind and in their hearts. And he knows that they're saying, why couldn't this guy just heal him? Why couldn't he just not let him die? Because they're looking at it as a permanent position, death, which does seem pretty permanent. And they're thinking, no, he's dead 4 days, nothing, no way. And remember what he told Martha. Jesus therefore again groaned in himself, cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Jesus said, take ye away the stone, Martha. Take ye away the stone. I can't see that period, evidently. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he had been dead 4 days. Now remember all that he told Martha when she came to him first. He will rise again. I am the truth and the life. She listened to that. She heard it. And now she's telling him, oh, but no, they don't want to open the grave. He's been dead 4 days. He's going to stink. What are you thinking? Again, she's being negative. That doesn't show me any faith. That doesn't show me any belief. Okay? So, again, I go back to us. How many times do we make statements like, oh, God can do anything, you just have faith? And then an hour later, we're going, I don't think he's going to help me with this. I don't think he's going to do that. I don't know if he's healing me or not. I'm still hurting, you know? The characters, again, the characters in the stories, you have to look at what they say and how they interact and what they are doing. And then compare yourself to them. We're all like this Martha. We're all like Mary. If we get our mind out of the world out of how things are done out there by taking a pill or a shot or whatever. Don't go across that because you'll fall and get hurt. If we get out of that world and get it in our head that God's with us and protecting us and looking after us and taking care of us, and He wants us and He called us for a special reason, then we should have that belief, and we should not be saying, I believe God will do it, and then going, I hope He will. I sure do hope He does. You can't do that. It's called faith and belief for a reason. Faith and belief. It gets you where you want to be. The first resurrection, where then all that's left for you is love. All that's left. You've made it. And that's what I want to make. That's what I want all of you to want to make. You can't be in a church like this and not want the first resurrection. That's our goal. But now Martha, after talking to him again and hearing the good news that he's going to save her brother, that he is the Son of God, that he is powerful, and people who believe in him will never die. Now we know, we know he's talking about other situations too. I'm going to die one day, but hopefully after that I'll be in a resurrection. The first. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to get to. That's what you're trying to get to. So that means I won't really die, because the second death will have no power over me. Okay? Look at the characters again. He stinks. He had been in the grave so long. Oh my goodness. Wine, 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 wine. I'm surprised that the next verse didn't say, and Jesus groaned. Because I'm sure he was going. Because he does say, Jesus saith unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God? He did correct her. He said it. He didn't groan. He just was like, he was voicing the groan, I guess. Didn't I tell you? Where is your faith? And again, you be the character. They're getting ready to open a tomb that's been closed for 4 days with a dead guy in it. You're going to be thinking, ooh, this is going to stink. Oh, gross. 4 days isn't really that long. Trust me, I know. But still, you're there with Jesus. You've seen him do these things, and now you want to doubt. I don't know, do we doubt because it was what she wanted, and so she's doubting? Of course, the Jews that were standing nearby that had just come out to help them wail and weep for the dead, they were probably doubting. They didn't follow Jesus, but she followed Jesus. She knew Jesus. She had Jesus in her house and eat and sup with them. And she had seen him do things, heard things that he had done by firsthand witnesses. But now she's doubting. Is it because the thing that we want makes us doubt? Or can we get past that? Just because it's for me, it's not going to happen. But you believe in God and you trust he'll help you. I don't know. I can't really answer that question, but it's the way people are. We think weird sometimes. Really weird. It's just the way we are. And then it goes on and it says, verse 41, they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me, and I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. This is a positive statement, very positive. But Jesus is praying to the Father and saying, hey, I knew you heard me. I didn't even have to speak it. I knew you heard me. I knew you were following what I was saying. I knew it. But I had to say it for these people because they're doubters, because they can't keep that faith in them. We can't be doubters. We can't lose the faith. We can't be like this. It's going to happen, yeah, but you got to try. When you see it or you feel it happening, you got to move it out of the way. You got to move it out of the way and go back to the fact Jesus said unto thee that if thou wouldst believe, thou shouldst see the glory of God. Believe in your situation. Believe in what you need and believe in what's happening. He will get us through. He will take care of us. He will help us. He's not there just as a figurehead, and that's it. He is our God, our Creator. And if we follow and believe and love His Son, Jesus Christ, He is with us. Both of them are with us. In 43, it says, and when he had thus spoken, he cried a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Jesus saith unto them, loose him, and let him go. You know, we talked about this, I think Freddie was talking about Jesus saying something to the Father and mentioning you. You know? Do you want him to mention you that, hey, that guy Chris, yeah, they call him Coach a lot. He's not got that faith thing going on very good at all. What do you want me to do? You know? What are you looking for? You've got to build the faith. It's up to us to make our path with God. He shows it to us. He shows us what to do, what not to do. And it's up to us to live it, to do it, to work it, to make it happen, and do it without having any doubts. We cannot doubt that He is our God. We cannot doubt that He is our Savior. We cannot doubt that He came to this earth as a human being and had His life taken in a very bloody, disgusting, gory way, all for you. All for you, for all the things that you've done wrong, for all the things that you might have done wrong that now you won't do because you know Him. Keep the faith. Keep it with you and build upon it. This mess out here, it's a crazy mess in this world. We've got to get through it. We've got to live through it. We've got to work with it. But we do not have to give up our God and our Savior to do that. Read, study, write if you need to. Listen to other sermons and Bible studies. But keep your mind and your focus on the Lord because we're going to need Him very, very much here soon.